Alrighty, welcome back to another state test prep video. Today we're going to talk about standard F.IF.7, continuing on with functions. Let's jump right in. Question 1. A function is shown f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. And it says use the add point tool to show the x-intercepts and maximum or minimum of the function. I need to be sure that I communicate this. This question is very specific. It's asking you only to put the x-intercepts and the maximum or minimum. If you put more than 3 points on this question, more than 3 points, this is wrong. Okay? You only put what it tells you to put on. So, let's get that information. To Desmos we go. We're given the equation f of x, whoops, not typing, f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. And we need to find the x-intercepts and the maximum or minimum. Your x-intercepts are clearly labeled, negative 3, 0, and 1, 0. And your minimum is labeled as negative 1, 4. I'm going to write these points down so I don't have to refer back to this while we do this. Okay. So, negative 3, 0 would be 1, 2, 3 to the left. 1, 0 would be 1 to the right. And negative 1, negative 4 would be 1 to the left and down 4. I can't quite see it where I'm doing on there. Okay. That's all you're putting on this graph. That's it. It asked you to put the x-intercepts and the minimum. We did that. Question done. If you go so far as to find the y-intercept, which is 0, negative 3, and you put that on, it will mark it wrong because it didn't ask you for the y-intercept. It asked you for only the x-intercepts. All right, question 2. A function is shown, f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 1. It asks you which graph represents the function. It gives you 4 different graphs. So, you may not think this is the kind of question that Desmos can help you with, but I assure you it is. So let's put it in. F of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 1. And we can observe several key things that will help us determine the answer. Okay? The first thing we can observe is that your vertex is at negative 1, negative 2, and we know that this is a function that looks like a smiley face. This is a positive function, looks like a smiling face. Okay? B is a frowning face, so we know that's out. Now, we need something that has a vertex at negative 1, negative 2. This vertex is at negative 1, 0. That doesn't work. This vertex is somewhere in the middle of Guam of this one right here. So that's not it. However, this one has a vertex of negative 1, negative 2. That's your answer. You may not think Desmos can help you, but Desmos did the whole thing for you. All right. Question 3. The graph of a function is shown. What is the maximum value of the function? Again, we're just going to put the maximum as the highest point. And remember, the maximum is always, you always write the y value unless it specifies otherwise. So the maximum is at 1, 2, 3. So it is 3. Question 4. A function is given. Use the add point tool to plot the zeros and the maximum or minimum. Now, we talked about the definition of zeros. Zeros is otherwise known as x-intercepts, not y-intercepts, just x-intercepts. Oh, goodness. So you're plotting only the zeros. It's the same thing as the previous question we did. Your x-intercepts of 1, 0, 3, 0, and 2, negative 2. So 1, 0, 3, 0, and 1, 2, 1, 2 for 2, negative 2. Question done. Question 5. Which graph represents f of x equals 2x minus 1? So we're going to put this question into Desmos as well. F of x equals 2x minus 1. Let's look at our intercepts. First off, we know this is a positive line, which all the lines on our answers are positive, so that sadly does not give us any, easy way out. However, our x-intercept is 0.5 or 1/2, comma 0. And our y-intercept is 0, comma negative 1. So let's look for any line that does not have a y-intercept of negative 1. This has a y-intercept of 2. This has a y-intercept of 1. This has a y-intercept of negative 1. This has a y-intercept of negative 1. However, our x-intercept is at 0.5. This has an x-intercept of 2. Therefore, it is B. And we're going to use this same logic for this last question. Which graph represents the function f of x equals negative 0.5 times x minus 4 squared plus 1? F of x equals negative 0.5 times x minus 4 squared plus 1. Okay, so what can we tell? We can tell that this is a frowning face, which unfortunately does not eliminate any choices. We can tell that the vertex is in quadrant 1. It's a positive vertex. This has a negative positive vertex, so that's out. This has a positive negative vertex, so that's out. This has a negative vertex, so that's out. And hey, wow, we only have one left. Just use the clues. This is just a matching game. It's a matching game. So that is already going to do it for this standard. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, good luck on your test.